What's up, everybody? It's your pal Skywarp with Cruisers Gaming, and today I'm going to give you the top 10 cars that, well, shouldn't necessarily be in Forza, but I want anyways. Now, I've done a lot of other top 10 lists, though they have been either fan-voted or for the good of the community. However, this is my list. These are my personally chosen vehicles to be in the game, and you're probably in for a ride, as I like oddball Malaise-era American cars. And if you're a fan of the channel, we all know what car is going to be number one anyways. But let's see some of the surprises I have along the way, shall we? For this list, I have chosen cars that would better suit the Forza Motorsport series. So floppy cruising convertibles and off-roading trucks, I'll be saving for the top 10 cars I want on the Horizon side of things. Also, I will not be including cars that have been in previous Forza Motorsport titles, so the DeLorean, for say, is gonna be on another list. Let's do this. Directly post-1974 gas crisis muscle cars are all too often overlooked, and that's the case with Chrysler's F-body platform. While these cars didn't carry the fire-breathing big blocks of their predecessors, they also didn't carry the bloated size and weight either. While low on horsepower for V8 cars, the power was still kinda high for its time. Its rear-wheel drive platform, coupled with a heavy-duty suspension, is a great starting point for a performance build. Not to mention the Roadrunner and RT trim packages with their spoilers and T-tops gave them such an aggressive look, you couldn't help but enjoy them with the T-tops out. We all have that underdog that we root for, and forever, mine has been the Yugo. A play on words, the Yugo was built in Yugoslavia, and was meant to be an economy car for the world with its dirt cheap price tag. However, its GVX model came with a Fiat-derived 1300cc engine and a 5-speed. Where the car lacked in power, it would make up for in sheer lightness, weighing in barely over 2,000 pounds. You might cringe at its boxy styling, but I dig boxy cars, you're gonna have to get over it. Turbo. Everybody's favorite word now in the car world. McLaren done buffed up a GM 3.1 V6 to accept said turbo and boosted the stock horsepower by 70 ponies. Arguably the best looking W body to come from GM, the ASC McLaren Grand Prix had luxury and handling to match any comparable European car at the time. This is one of those cars that would be fun just to romp on and then cruise around in the same hour while driving it. Turbo. Check. 5-speed. Check. Fox body platform. Check. If you're a Ford buff, you're probably wondering why a Turbo Coupe was added here and not the later, more powerful Super Coupe. The answer to that is the styling, my friend, and the fact that the street-going version of the T-Bird so closely resembled that of Bill Elliott's NASCAR race car. And if memory serves, it still holds the record of the fastest Daytona 500 speed to date. The T-Bird and its Mercury Cougar XR7 sister had a 2.3-liter, 155 horsepower turbo motor, which is the same engine already in the existing Sierra Cosworth in FM7. Another addition to the painfully low horsepower but outstandingly fun to drive department is the first generation Ford Escort GT. A measly little 1.9 liter only pushed out about 110 ponies, though four-wheel independent suspension that was more adjustable for track days than some modern cars, this thing dominated dirt and asphalt circle tracks and even some classes in SCCA road racing. A low 2,500 pound curb weight and some massaging of the little four-banger meant that on a budget, you could rip around corners like no one else's business on tracks like VIR in Mid-Ohio. For its time, this little Econobox was one of the stoutest little race cars on a shoestring budget. The Eurosport VR is about the only car on this list that is getting in on looks alone. As aggressive as this car looks in either the coupe, sedan, or my choice of the wagon, sadly underneath it is bone stock Chevy Celebrity, which was already an out-of-date platform near the end of its life where the Eurosport VR came into play. 125 horsepower out of a 2.8 V6, coupled mostly with automatic transmissions, with suspensions tracing components back to the old Chevy Citation, made this trim package just an underperformer. However, the beautiful 80s Euro-inspired bodywork by Autostyle Cars dropped my jaw as a little kid. And with the customization level in Forza, this car could be useful as a leaderboard car, or as useless as, I don't know, the Dodge Neon. Either way, you're gonna look cool doing it. If you're a regular watcher of the channel, y'all know I won a lot of my early races in a Cavalier Z24. I've had two race cars, one of which was my very first race car. I bought for $400, ready to race at the local circle track. It was really the first car that I started to teach myself how to work on cars. Performance numbers on the V6 little Cavaliers really aren't that impressive. What is, though, is the absolute resilience of the second-gen Z24. My first 2 years racing, my Z24 had its fair share of scrapes, slams, and even a crash, and that thing just smiled and asked for more. I got the weight down from the stock around 2,500 to a very slim 1,990 pounds without me in it. I raced it on dirt and asphalt and have more Cavalier stories than Forza has cars. It has earned its spot on this personal list of mine. The twofer on this list are the two-sleeper Oldsmobiles. Powered by the 190 horsepower Quad 4, the Cutlass Calais 442 W41 package, it took me more than one take to get that, had a better 0 to 60 and better quarter mile times than the Honda Civic Type R, and it came a full 6 years before it. And while I love the boxy style of the Calais, it is a deeply hated car for the most part in the car community. It was hated for its boxy styling and the fact that it was the last Oldsmobile to leave the factory with the 442 badge. In reality, the 14.7 quarter mile time could beat any factory small block Olds 442, and if you threw a corner in there or two, just for good measure, it would emasculate a 442 big block with ease. In 1992 though, the 442 was dropped and SCX was added as the performance package in the all-new Olds Achieva, and that year, it won the IMSA Showroom Stock Class Championship. The 190 horsepower Quad 4 would remain the strongest horsepower, naturally aspirated four-cylinder that GM made for nearly 2 decades. With a racing heritage like this, I would love to butthurt the Civic boys in FM8 with this fire-breathing, race-proven sleeper. This automobile is on the list just because I've owned one longer than most of you have probably been alive. I've had dreams to build this car frame off, ground up for what seems like an eternity by now, but it still hasn't happened. The B-Body, or box Chevys as they're known in the car world, are some really impressive cars. It's lightweight in comparison to its size, full-framed, and actually handles surprisingly well once you swap off the Grandpa 75 series tires that most of them came with. Aftermarket companies offer everything from tubular front control arms to fully built disc brake rear axles fit for a race car. And oh, you want racing pedigree? That beautiful angular rear glass was homologated for their use in NASCAR in 1977, 78, and 79, making it the first true aeroback before the Monte Carlo SS. I know, it's no big surprise here. The Beretta was introduced in 1987, and in 88 and 89 had the GTU package that was homologated for Trans Am and IMSA GTU class. While, like most cars in this list, the power wasn't up to par. What was up to par was the FE7 suspension package that made this thing so fun to throw around the twisties. I grew up in the hilly region of Ohio, so that explains my love of cars that actually handle well. I'll spare you all the other details since y'all know I can talk about them all day long. Plus, I've actually been working on a Beretta documentary off and on for a while now, so eventually everything you want to know about Berettas will be in that future video. Like today's episode, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, as the next one up is my top 10 cars for Forza Horizon. The cars in today's list are much different from the cars I'm driving in real life for the Skywarp Summer Drive series. That features true muscle cars, exotics, classics, so check out that series here on the channel as well. Click on the link down below for links for the Cruiser's social media, and if you find yourself in a position to do so and want a Cruiser's window sticker as well, check out the Cruiser's Patreon. I thank you for watching, my friends, and remember, those friends, they're the family you get to choose. I'll see you next week, fellow cruisers.